Hi, Stella. Hope you're doing good. Oh, I'm throwing things. I'm going to give everyone just a minute or two to find us, and then we will get busy. How in the world did that one get in there? It looks like we're still live. Hey, Janie. I thought maybe we had dropped our connection. You popped on just in time to tell me we weren't. Wait just another minute or so. Be sure if you're watching that you comment and say hello. Let me know you're here. You can also comment if you watch the replay. And that way you can get in on the drawing for the project that I'm going to show tonight. And of course, if you share the video, make sure you type the word shared in all capital letters. And that way I know that you shared, and you'll be in another drawing for a stack of cards from my stash. I love sending happy mail. Looks like we're good. I think so. Thank you, Janie. Okay, I am going to go ahead and get started. Today is Thursday, January 23rd, 2025, and this is Donna Schneidmiller coming to you from the Creative Cove here in Louisville, Kentucky. And I do go live on Tuesdays and Thursdays, so I'm glad everyone had an opportunity to come and hop in with me while I show you some fun projects each week. So, hi, Linda. Today, just quickly, I want to remind you of a couple of things. I don't want to go over everything every single time, but first and foremost, if you are interested in the Designer Series paper share that I am offering from the mini and celebration catalogs, the deadline for that is the 26th, which is Monday, Saturday. Let's see. It's Sunday, okay? So you have until the 26th to sign up for that. That is 74 pieces of 6x6, which is all of the papers in the current mini catalog. You'll also get some die cuts out of 2 of the specialty papers. And then as a bonus, anyone that takes advantage of that is also going to get a sampling of papers from the celebration catalog, which are so much fun. In addition to that, what else is coming up? Of course, we have Celebration. And I tell everyone it's an awesome deal. Spend $60 and you can pick something from the catalog. If you spend $120, you can pick something from the $120 level, or you can pick 2 celebration items from the $60. And we have all kinds of things, which is what makes it so cool. I love how they keep adding embellishments and embossing folders in addition to stamps, so that we have options. And there's even a card kit this time, so that's a lot of fun. A couple of things about upcoming events. Creative Cove registration is open for that. That is for my Creative Escape. And that is going to be on April the 19th. It is an all-day event. It's from 9 to 6. It includes lunch and dinner. It's $50. If you register by March 21st with payment, with payment, you will receive $10 in free raffle tickets. And then the final RSVP date is April the 4th. So I'm very excited about it. It's limited to 30. It is over at the Marine Corps League, where I've always had my retreats. I decided to go back because it just worked out better for me. In addition, I have scrapbooking clubs starting this month. Now, I say club, but in reality, it is just a monthly class that you can come to. You can do it online and to go if you like. It's going to be 2 12 by 12 pages for $35, and you're going to get extra products so that you'll be able to make more pages or cards at your leisure. So again, if you're interested in that, just let me know. I have a new venue that I am trying to finalize, and as soon as I get that set, which I have an appointment with them on Monday, I will let everyone know where that is going to be. So I have 3 different options, but I'm looking forward to doing it at this new place if it works out. Club Cove for February, registration is open for that. You have until February the 16th to sign up for it. And we're going to be using the mixed florals. I am loving this. This is a bundle. It has some awesome images. It cuts out the florals, but it also has some additional designs and die cuts that are incredible. That is $30 for pickup, or $38 if you need me to ship it to you, and it includes approximately $22 to $25 in product, and you make 8 cards, 2 each of 4 designs. Comes with a PDF, some extra goodies, etc. So if that's something you might want to try, let me know. Again, there's no obligation. You can sign up for 1, or you can continue it on, and if you do it for 6 straight months, then you're going to receive a bonus from me of a goodie bag with $25 worth of extra product in it. So again, fun way to learn some new techniques and some new fun folds, etc., and still have lots of product. What else? Birthday card buffet is coming up on the 8th of February. That is over at Cassie's Stamp Studio off of Dixie Highway. There's 2 sessions, 9 to 12 and 1 to 4. Cards are $3 each and do include the envelopes, and you can make as few or as many as you want. And 100% of the cards at this one are all birthdays. So here's an opportunity for you to come and make some birthday cards and pick and choose how many you need, okay? And then I think that is everything. Stamp-A-Stack is already closed for this month, but I do it every month on the 4th Sunday of the month at 1 o'clock, and that's a 16-card event. But I do have some new things. If this new venue opens up, I am going to be adding some extra classes and events starting in February. So be watching for all that, and of course I'll share it as soon as everything is finalized. All right. Now, make sure, like I said, that you are commenting and or sharing. Hi, Linda. Hi, Tracy. Because I'm going to put your name into the drawing for the card that I did on Tuesday. And we did this fun fold. It's a double floating card. I just love it. Oops. Goes like that. Well, sometimes when I fold it, there it goes like that, okay? And it features that awesome bundle from the mini not the mini catalog, from Online Exclusives, but love this paper. Love, love, love it. Okay, got everybody's name into the hat. Let's see who is going to get that. Linda McFarlane, you actually get to catch me live. That's awesome. So glad you could make it. Okay, let's see who is going to get that. And that's going to go to Norma. So Norma, I will get that for you. And then, of course, if you share, like I said earlier, and you can comment and or share even if you can't catch me live, and you'll be included. So if you share my video, make sure you type the word shared in all capital letters. And that way I know that you shared, and you'll be into this drawing for a stack of cards. So let's see who is going to get that. And that is going to go to Tracy Schomburg. So Tracy, I have your information, and I, of course, will get that to you. Now, hopefully people are receiving their happy mail. I mailed out quite a bit, but I also heard at the post office, as well as saw it on the news, that there is some mail, mostly packages, but some mail that is backed up for several weeks, some cases all the way to Christmas. So I hope that's not the case. I hope everyone is getting the things that they're looking for. If you haven't, be patient. I promise you that they're coming. Okay. And then, of course, through each month, through the middle of April, there will be a host code when you place an order in my online store that's $35 or more before shipping and tax, and you use the host code. I always send you out a little embellishment as a thank you. And this month, it's the adhesive backed pearls. So if you would like to receive those free, you will see the host code when I put the camera down. All right, let's jump in. You are going to love how quick and easy this card is, but how much fun it is. So let me put the camera down. Hang tight. Don't want anybody getting sick. There we go. I think we're in. I've got my phone in the case very well today, so hopefully we are centered and in line. That doesn't look too bad. We're not too crooked. All right, so here is our host code for the month of January. So you can take it. I can't believe January is almost gone. We only have, 8 days left? That, to me, is just crazy. Just crazy. Well, we are going to be using a stamp set from the annual catalog that is called Country Flowers. And I love this. I wanted something I could color with blends. We haven't colored in a while. And this set worked perfectly. Now, it is available in a bundle with the matching dies, but we're not going to use those tonight. We're just going to use the sentiments and this floral right here. Okay? Now, it's got very minimal pieces, but you're going to love the punch of this card. We're going to start with a piece of crumb cake. This is 4 1/4 by 11, so you can get 2 cards out of each piece of paper. It's going to be scored at 2 3/4, as well as 5 1/2. And then you'll notice that on the top flap up here, I have already embossed it with the eyelet folder. I love this folder. This is a dynamic, one of our 3D embossing folders, and I just love how the impression comes out. So you can kind of see that I did that. Now, the idea for this fold is you're going to fold the card in half, and then you're going to fold it back, much like a Z fold, but we're not going to be doing a Z fold with it. Now, I'm going to go ahead and burnish it well, which is going to help this work best, okay? And then, of course, when you burnish this flap up, you want to add light pressure on the back, just so, sorry it keeps clicking, just so you don't have to worry about messing up your impression, okay? So just like that. So I'm going to lay that aside for a second. Then you need a piece of peach pie, and this is 3 1/4 by 9, and you're going to score it at 3 and at 6, okay? And it is going to fold in the exact same way. You're going to fold down and burnish, and then fold up and burnish, okay? And you want to try to make sure that it's lined up as best it can be. Let me just wiggle it a little bit and get it where I need it to be. Okay. And then you also need 2 pieces of basic white that are 3 by 2 3/4. And then in this case, I am using a piece of the Country Lace DSP that is also 3 by 2 3/4. Now, you don't have to use DSP and you don't have to use 3 panels. And I will show you how as it goes together, how that's going to come into play. All right. Now, I'm also going to use Memento ink as well as the Peach Pie and Old Olive blends. Okay, so I'm going to bring in my mat because this is photopolymer. I've got my piece of used grid paper. I'm bound and determined that I am not going to not use my grid paper on camera because it's dirty. More and more people are doing it, and there's even some that have contests that see who has the dirtiest, most used piece of paper. But I'm just going to use it, not waste it, right? Okay, now I do want to show you something that I did recently, and that is I love our Memento pads, but they're small. If you've got a big image, you sometimes, of course, have to put the image down and pat your pad. Well, I actually saw another demonstrator share this tip, and that is that she took the white, uninked pad that is available in the catalog. Now, it does come with the white craft ink, which I already have, so I can use the ink as a refill, but I wanted to convert it like she did into a full-size pad that has Memento ink in it. Now, so it makes it nice, but let me tell you that when you do this, less ink is more, okay? And you want to kind of put a layer on, smooth it around, let it sit for a second to seep into the pad, and then add another one. And then what I did was I tested it each time I added a layer to make sure that my image was nice and not too goopy, okay? And if you've seen me do this before, I just take a plastic spoon, put some drops on there, and then I kind of knead it like I'm icing a cake, and it works well. But I love the fact that now I have a bigger stamp image, okay, to work with. Now, keep in mind, this is a foam pad, just like all of our other new pads, where this one is the cotton with this netting over the top. So when you go to ink up your stamps, where here you can press a little harder, you don't want to do that with the bigger pad, okay, because you will get a lot of gooping that you don't want, okay? I'm going to start first, let me put this out of the way, with my white pieces. And out of the stamp set, I am going to use the Sentiment That's Best Friend Ever. And again, I'm using Light Touch, but I am checking it to make sure I've got enough ink. And I'm going to stamp that right down here in the bottom. And I'm doing my sentiments first on purpose, and you'll see why here in a second. The other thing is you want to make sure that you have the 3-inch side, the side going at the bottom and the top, and your short sides are on the side, okay? So that when you put this, it's actually going to fit onto here, that it fits. If you go this way with it, with the short edge at the top, it's not going to fit. So make sure that you're doing your stamping, especially your sentiments, so that you have the wider edge at the bottom. Now, I'm also going to use another one that says, So Lucky to Know You. And I'm going to stamp that one right up here at the top. And again, light touch, okay? Move that one out of the way. And then for a second, I want to bring in my piece of Designer Series paper. And I have one more sentiment. And again, this panel is not absolutely necessary, but you can, and I have some other examples to show you where you can or don't need to. And I'm stamping right down on that designer series paper. And then I have this little tiny flower, and I'm just going to stamp on each side with that, okay? So I'm gonna lay that one aside. Then I'm gonna bring in my large flower, okay? And this, you can put this into a bucket or a vase, or even sit those things on a stool. We're not going to do that. We're just going to use the image, okay? And I want to stamp it to where this larger flower kind of stands out and as kind of like my focal. So again, light pressure when I'm stamping. And I'm going to put one up here. Ooh, love how pretty that looks. And one down here, just like that. And it is a bit juicy, so I'm gonna let it sit for a second. And then on this one, I'm just going to put a little bit, so I'm gonna spin this around because I really only want that small section right there, okay? Now I'm gonna close my pad because that's all the stamping I'm gonna do. And again, because this is our foam pads that store upside down, you don't have to worry about storing them like you do your Memento because you want to keep that ink at the top, okay? So that is that. Now, then I am going to do some coloring. The other thing that I like about this is that sometimes when you use your Memento, you may notice that you get these little like flakes of, they look like little strings or little fibers that have come off of the pad, especially if you rub it. And if you look, I don't know if you can see it, because of the type of material that's on that pad, let me see if I can, you've got these little fibers that hang off your edge, and those actually flake off and will get stuck on your ink pad. That's not going to happen with your foam pad because there is no extra material, for lack of a better word, to worry about getting attached, okay? All right, so I'm going to bring in this one first because that's the, and I'll give those a second. And I am just going to use my light peach pie and just add a little color, again, right on top of the designer series paper. And I like to do light, then dark, then light again. And I'm just going to add a couple of little touches in the center just to kind of blend that out. Hi, Ann. Hey, Karen. Glad you could make it. And then I'm going to go ahead and go back over it. Now, I had someone ask me why it is that when you use your bullet point, that the ink color is lighter. And quite honestly, so let me show you what I mean. I'll just do it right here. So if I do here on the bullet point, you see that that's very thin. It's almost as if it's more alcohol, but if I do the opposite end, I get that darker color. I don't know why that is. I don't think I've ever noticed it before, but I'm definitely going to look into why that is because that's quite interesting to me. Okay, let's bring in our bigger images. And I am going to use my brush point, and I'm going to just very quickly go over. Now, one thing, because as I was using my bullet point, I did notice that it actually gave me yet another variation of color. So I had a much lighter image that I could do. So I'm just gonna, I don't know about you, but I do one color at a time. And I know you all know how to color and you all know how to blend, but today I needed to color. So bear with me very quickly. I'll get this done, I promise. Okay. Then we'll come up here and do the same. And this actual card, you can use designer series paper for all the panels. You can leave one panel blank and not put anything on it. There's just a wide variety. You can use multiple DSPs out of the coordinating pack. There's just a lot that you're going to be able to do with this particular fold. So I hope you will try it. Yes. And of course, if you're watching live, you can always go back and watch the replay. I publish it right after the live is over. So if you missed any steps or you want to cut pieces and follow along, you'll be able to do it step by step. I don't know about you, but sometimes I like to stop it, watch a step, stop it, run it back, pause it, and then move forward. So like I said, I'm just doing light peach pie right now. Okay, I've got all those colored. Now, I'm gonna go ahead and cap my blends for right now. Now I'm going to take my bullet point and I'm just going to add some color here in the center and just kind of at the base of these or anywhere that there is elements. Now here, I want to do something a little different. Do the centers. But I'm just kind of adding a little bit of blending. And then I'll go back over it with my light. Okay, so there's that one. You can kind of see how it just kind of changes the whole dynamic of the flowers. Kind of brings them more to life to add some of that. And the nice thing is, Stampin' Up! Gives you kind of like hints on where you can add color by the markings that they put. Now, did I get all the flowers? I think I did. Okay, so now I'm going to take my light again, and I'm just going to kind of soften that. And of course, the more color that you add, so if you add additional layers on top of things, it is going to darken, just like anytime you add another shade. But I'm just going to kind of pull this color out and soften those areas. We'll come do the same thing over here. And again, I'm just extending it out from where I colored or added those extras. And you could add just a line. You can do more or less. Okay, there's that. Love how pretty it looks. Okay, and then I'm gonna do the same thing with Old Olive on my leaves. So hold tight. And again, you'll notice this one's a little bit lighter. And I'm just going to go ahead and put that in certain places. I'm not going to do all the leaves with my bullet point that has the lighter tone to it, but some. And like I said, it just gives you, why it's like that, I don't know. I will find out because I've had a couple people ask me just in the last couple of days, why is that like that? But now that I know it does it, and how I didn't before, I don't know. Okay. And I don't know about you, but when I color, whether it be with blends or markers. It's very relaxing to me. I'm going to grab my thick one. Just going to add some color to the ends of these. Not a lot, just a little bit. And like I said, you could just do a dot or a line. Some people, I'm not a meticulous blender, obviously, and you don't have to be, but I think it just makes it look a little more realistic. Okay, now then we'll take our light again. This time I'm going to use my brush tip, and I'm just going to kind of pull that out, and you can see what I'm talking about and how this is a little bit darker than the opposite end. So we'll kind of soften those. I never get tired of flowers. You know, some people don't like flowers. Some people don't like birds. I never get tired of them. We always have plenty, that's for sure. But, okay. So you can kind of see, how it gives it kind of a variegated and or more realistic look when you add the different shades on top of it. And of course you can let it dry, which is almost instantaneous, and then you can add more color back to it if you want. But there is that. You can kind of see all that texture. And here's the other one. All right, I'm going to move this out of the way, and then I'm going to show you how quick and easy it is to put this card together. So again, on your piece that's 3 1/4 by 9, you're going to score at 3 and 6. You're going to make a Z out of it, but you want to make sure that you don't use it this way. You don't want the flap to open this way. You want it to pull up, okay? So I'm just going to open it all the way up, knowing how I'm going to fold it. And this is going to be the front, so I'm going to do So Lucky to Know You. He's going to be on the front. Come on. You were fine earlier. There we go. All right. We're going to put that one right up here. Okay. I'm going to add this one to the center. And again, you could leave this panel blank. You could add another panel if you wanted to the inside, a plain one that you could stamp on. I just wanted to add something that gave it a little more texture and would pull in the crumb cake that we used for our base. Okay, so we've got all of our panels down. Yep. So this is going to fold like this, okay? And it's going to pull, well, let me turn it around this way. So what you want to do is you want to close it, flip it over, and you're going to add adhesive all the way around, okay? And it's important that you add adhesive all the way around and make sure you get up on those edges, okay? Now, you're going to fold this down, and you're going to kind of center where you think you want your card to sit. Now, this top piece is going to overlap here. Okay, so once I kind of have it where I want it, I'm going to hold it, and I'm going to lift this up and out of the way. Okay, so I want to make sure I'm straight. Just like that. Okay, then I want to flip this over. This is going to come down, and this is going to lay. Is that straight? Yeah. It's going to lay across this way. So what I want to do is add a couple of strips of adhesive, again, all the way to the edges. And I'm going to fold this up and adhere it like that, okay? So then what happens is your card opens like this. Okay. So let's finish it up. You could add some Wink of Stella. I'm not going to do that. You could. But I am going to bring in the 24 to 26 in color shimmer dots. And they have these little peach ones. So I am going to add them here to the front in the centers of those big flowers. And then I'm going to add one more right there. Okay. And we're done. It's that easy. Okay. Now, I would go ahead and burnish this once you're attached. Okay. And then I would turn it over and burnish it again just to make sure that everything is nice and tight and adhered. And that way you can run with it. Okay. Now let me show you a couple more. So this was a fold that I did a long time ago. And this was the first one I did. This is where I pulled my inspiration. It reminded me how fun this was. And you can see in this regard that I left this panel blank. This one's up just a bit further, so it allowed me to do some stamping. This one is down, so you can position it however you want to position it, okay? And then here's one more using that adorable fruit salad paper. So this is my celebration card, okay? And I have it like this. So in this case, I did not stamp at all, okay? I just added it to tie everything together. And then I left room down here for you to write a message if you like. Okay. So fun fold, quick and easy. Oh, thank you, Janie. So love it. So fun. And of course, you do not have to emboss the top, but you can just tell how it kind of ties it all together. You could put another piece of Designer Series paper up here. Again, this fold, you can do a whole lot with. All right? So that's your project for tonight. I hope you'll give that a try. Not hard at all. Very minimal pieces, as you can see. And then, of course, with those panels, you can change it up however you want. You could even here, if you didn't want to, oh, why is there a glare? If you didn't want to emboss this as it is, you could cut a layer and emboss the layer and put it down first, which would also give you a little bit of stability, because when you do emboss that, it kind of breaks the fibers of the paper down a bit, so it's a little bit thinner. So again, lots and lots of options that you can do with this. So, all right, well, that's your project for tonight. I hear we're in for a heat wave. I heard earlier 50s by the end of the weekend, so that's going to be wonderful. If you are coming to Stamp-A-Stack, I will see you on Sunday at 1 o'clock. And of course, we'll be back on Tuesday with our Tuesday Night Live. And hopefully I'll have an update for you on the new venue and the schedule of classes that's going to be held there. So everyone have a great rest of your week. If you need anything, feel free to reach out and I will be happy to help you. And I will talk to you soon. Thanks again, everyone. Bye-bye.